Boa tarde de algum lugar entre as ruínas fumegantes da credibilidade imperial americana e o ressurgimento espetacular da resistência venezuelana, que está transformando a Operação Brilhante de Trump na maior humilhação geopolítica da história moderna. O que deveria ter sido showcase do poder militar americano está se tornando demonstração patética de incompetência estratégica que expôs brutalmente todas as contradições internas do império em declínio. Vamos dissecar como a Venezuela conseguiu humilhar Trump diante do mundo inteiro, enquanto Rússia e China coordenam resposta devastadora que redefinirá permanentemente o equilíbrio de poder global. Primeiro, os fatos que a mídia corporativa ocidental está tentando desesperadamente suprimir. A operação americana está falhando espetacularmente em todos os níveis imagináveis. A captura de Maduro, que deveria ter decapitado a resistência venezuelana, na verdade, galvanizou a população inteira em movimento de resistência popular que ultrapassa qualquer precedente histórico na América Latina. Caracas não colapsou. As instituições venezuelanas não se fragmentaram. As forças armadas bolivarianas não desertaram. Pelo contrário, Venezuela demonstrou capacidade de organização e resistência que surpreendeu até mesmo observadores mais otimistas sobre resiliência dos países do Global South quando enfrentam agressão imperial direta. A vice-presidente Delcy Rodrigues não apenas manteve continuidade institucional, mas conseguiu mobilizar resposta internacional que isolou completamente Estados Unidos no cenário mundial. Convocação emergencial do Conselho de Segurança da ONU resultou em condenação quase unânime da operação americana, com apenas Estados Unidos e Israel defendendo a legalidade do sequestro. Mais humilhante ainda, população venezuelana não recebeu libertadores americanos como Trump esperava. Pelo contrário, imagens que chegam de Caracas mostram manifestações massivas de apoio à resistência bolivariana e repúdio à ocupação imperial. O povo oprimido, que supostamente aguardava salvação americana, demonstrou preferir soberania venezuelana à colonização trumpiana. A dimensão militar da humilhação é ainda mais reveladora. Forças de ocupação americanas controlam apenas algumas instalações governamentais centrais em Caracas, enquanto o resto do país permanece sob controle de estruturas bolivarianas que reorganizaram comando e controle através de networks descentralizadas que militares americanos não conseguem localizar ou neutralizar. Tentativas de estabelecer administração de transição com políticos da oposição venezuelana fracassaram, porque mesmo opositores históricos de Maduro rejeitaram colaboração com a ocupação estrangeira. Maria Corina Machado, Prêmio Nobel da Paz e líder oposicionista, surpreendeu Washington ao denunciar violação da soberania venezuelana e recusar qualquer cooperation com o governo fantoche instalado por forças estrangeiras. Resultado, Estados Unidos enfrentam situação impossível, onde controlam formalmente o governo venezuelano, mas não conseguem governar efetivamente país que rejected sua authority em todos os levels da sociedade. A dimensão econômica da humilhação revela outra camada de incompetência estratégica americana. O objetivo declarado de tomar o petróleo venezuelano está sendo sabotado por trabalhadores de PDVSA, Petróleos de Venezuela, que lançaram greve geral indefinida e sabotagem sistemática de infraestrutura energética. Refinarias venezuelanas estão operando a menos de 20% da capacidade devido à resistência dos trabalhadores e acidentes misteriosos que afetam equipamentos críticos sempre que técnicos americanos tentam assumir operações. Production está praticamente paralisada, transforming seizure americana em massive liability instead de strategic asset. Mais devastador, trabalhadores venezuelanos destruíram databases e documentação técnica essencial antes da chegada das forças americanas. Engineers americanos descobriram que não têm informação necessária para operate complex systems petrolíferos venezuelanos, criando dependência paradoxical em expertise local que refuse cooperate. China reagiu imediatamente cortando all purchases de petróleo venezuelano sob ocupação americana e announced que considera qualquer oil extraído por companies americanas como stolen goods que não serão recognized em international markets. Como China é largest buyer de Venezuelan oil, essa decisão alone torna Venezuelan oil extraction economically unviable para Americans. A humilhação diplomática da Operação Trump está sendo amplificada by coordinated response de Rússia e China, que transformou bilateral crisis Venezuela e MAIOR em comprehensive challenge para a entire Western Order. Rússia convocou emergency session da CSTO, Collective Security Treaty Organization, e announced que considera American Operation em Venezuela como direct attack em security interests de CSTO members, devido para Venezuelan partnerships com Rússia em energy e defense sectors. Isso automatically triggers mutual defense obligations que podem escalate crises para direct confrontation. Mais critically, Putin authorized unlimited military assistance para Venezuelan resistance forces, including supply de advanced weapons systems, que podem neutralize American military advantages. Reports unconfirmed suggest que Russian advisors já estão operating in Venezuelan territory, providing tactical guidance para resistance operations. Chinese response even more sophisticated porque focuses em economic warfare que leverages China's position como dominant global manufacturing e trading power. Beijing announced comprehensive sanctions contra all American companies involved in Venezuelan operation, cutting them off the Chinese supply chains, que são essential para global operations. Xi Jinping declared que China will not recognize any government installed through foreign military intervention e established alternative diplomatic relations com legitimate Venezuelan government in exile, que será supported by China, Russia, Iran e major countries do Global South. Most damaging, China começou dumping US Treasury bonds in unprecedented scale, driving up American interest rates and creating financial pressure, que força Washington para choose between funding Venezuelan occupation or maintaining domestic economic stability. Iranian response adds third dimension para coordinated retaliation against American aggression. Tehran announced que considera Venezuelan operation como rehearsal para ataque contra Iran e authorized preemptive measures para defend Iranian interests globally. Essa include activation de extensive proxy networks in Middle East, targeting American military bases e assets through asymmetric warfare que aumenta costs de American military presence worldwide while maintaining plausible deniability. More immediately relevant para Venezuelan situation, Iran began supply the advanced drone technology e asymmetric warfare expertise para Venezuelan resistance forces, providing capabilities que podem neutralize American technological advantages em urban warfare environment. O aspecto mais humilhante para Trump, personally, é que sua decisão para intervir em Venezuela foi based em fundamental miscalculations sobre Venezuelan society e global response. Trump's advisors, led by Marco Rubio, convinced him que Venezuelan population would welcome American liberation e que international community would accept fait accompli. Instead, Trump descobriu que Venezuelan resistance é more determined que expected, international condemnation é more severe que anticipated e domestic American opposition é more vocal que calculated. Opinion polls em Estados Unidos show que 52% de Americans oppose Venezuelan intervention, com significant opposition even among Republican voters. Congressional Democrats launched investigation and constitutional violations, the launching military operations sem congressional authorization, while some prominent Republicans como Marjorie Taylor Greene publicly criticized intervention como betrayal de America First promises. Military-industrial complex também divided sobre strategic wisdom da operation, porque resources devoted para Venezuelan occupation drain capacity para Pacific pivot against China, supposed priority para American grand strategy. Pentagon leaders privately expressed concern que opening Venezuelan front while China advances in South China Sea represents catastrophic strategic overextension. A informational warfare dimension da humilhação reveals another layer da American incompetence. Trump administration expected que control the Venezuelan government would provide access para Venezuelan media apparatus que could be used para shape narrative about successful liberation. Instead, Venezuelan journalists and media workers launched comprehensive resistance que includes broadcasting in underground networks, coordinating with international media para expose American abuses, and maintaining information flow que contradicts official American narrative. Alternative media platforms, RT, CGTN, Al Jazeera, even some independent Western outlets, providing extensive coverage da Venezuelan resistance que completely contradicts corporate American media portrayal of the situation. Result, a bifurcated information environment on the majority of the global population receives information que contradicts American propaganda, social media footage, the Venezuelan resistance activities, civilian casualties, American military operations, e international solidarity demonstrations spreading rapidly através de networks que bypass Western media control, creating information environment que favors Venezuelan resistance rather que American occupation. A regional dimension da humilhação é particularly significant porque demonstra que Trump's attempt para reassert Monroe Doctrine authority over Latin America está producing opposite results que intended. Colombia closed border com Venezuela e announced que will not cooperate com American military operations. Mexico recalled ambassador from Washington and condemned intervention como violation of international law. Brazil, under pressure the domestic public opinion, announced neutrality que effectively supports Venezuelan position. Even historically pro-American countries como Chile and Peru expressed deep concern about precedent established by Venezuelan intervention, indicating que American action está alienating allies rather que deterring adversaries. Cuba declared state the maximum alert and began mobilizing defense forces in anticipation of the potential American attack, while Nicaragua announced que considers Venezuelan intervention como direct threat para Sandinista government. Result here that Trump's attempt para demonstrate American strength in Western Hemisphere ye actually accelerating formation the comprehensive anti-American coalition America Latina, que includes both leftist governments and traditionally conservative countries concerned about sovereignty. An economic warfare dimension, the retaliation against Venezuelan operation, ye already producing significant costs to the American economy, que may prove unsustainable for domestic political reasons. Chinese sanctions protive American companies involved in Venezuelan operation, ye affecting major corporations que depend on Chinese supply chains de global operations. Companies como Chevron, ExxonMobil, a defense contractor supporting Venezuelan operation discovering que Chinese retaliation ye more costly que potential benefits in Venezuelan oil access. Russian energy export restrictions protive Western markets ye driving up global energy prices, creating inflationary pressure that affects American domestic economy and undermines Trump's promises the economic prosperity. Iranian asymmetric retaliation against American military assets worldwide, ye increasing security costs and operational complexity de American military operations in multiple theaters simultaneously. Combined effect, ye economic pressure protive American position, que forces choice between escalating Venezuelan intervention with increasing costs, или accepting diplomatic solution, que amounts to strategic defeat. A nuclear dimension remains implicit but absolutely central para next phase de confrontation. Russia, China and Iran cannot allow precedent the American military intervention protive allied countries, bez response, que demonstrates unacceptable costs de such operations. But direct military confrontation risks catastrophic escalation, que serves nobody's ultimate interests. Solution, a carefully calibrated escalation que raises costs, the American operations globally, while maintaining plausible deniability about direct confrontation. This likely means intensification de proxy conflicts worldwide, economic warfare protive American financial interests, cyber attacks protive American critical infrastructure, and support the anti-American movements and regions the American presence ye vulnerable. Venezuelan situation ye becoming test case the whether alternative world order based and sovereignty and multipolar cooperation can successfully resist American imperial coercion. Success de Venezuelan resistance would demonstrate that American military power možno be defeated by determined popular opposition supported by coordinated international assistance. Para Brazil specifically, Venezuelan crisis represents moment de definition where neutrality becomes impossible. Geographic proximity means que escalation de Venezuelan conflict directly affects Brazilian territory, forcing choice between supporting American intervention or aligning with Latin American solidarity. Brazilian public opinion strongly opposes American intervention. No Brazilian elite remains divided between those who favor accommodation with Washington and those who support regional sovereignty. Lula government trying para maintain middle position. No pressure for definitive choice increasing daily. Colombian situation particularly complex after some border con Venezuela means que Luboy escalation directly affects Colombian territory. No decades de American military cooperation create dependencies que make opposition para Washington politically difficult для Colombian establishment. Mexican position more straightforward, really. AMLO government already established pattern de resistance para American pressure and multiple issues. Mexican condemnation, the Venezuelan intervention consistent with broader strategy, the asserting Mexican sovereignty protiv American domination. Para conclusion preliminary desta analysis, Venezuelan operation represents inflection point. The Trump administration discovered que American military power cannot overcome determined popular resistance supported by coordinated international assistance. Venezuelan humiliation. The Trump demonstrates que era de easy American military victories ended. Когда adversaries developed alternative support networks que provide resources, expertise, and diplomatic cover necessary для sustained resistance. Russian and Chinese coordination and supporting Venezuelan resistance marks beginning their comprehensive challenge para American global hegemony que goes far beyond single conflict. Success de Venezuelan resistance would provide template ya similar resistance movements worldwide. Trump's Venezuelan adventure može mark beginning the imperial overextension que accelerates American decline rather que reversing it. Resources committed para Venezuelan occupation cannot be used ya more important strategic challenges, while costs de maintaining unpopular occupation increase domestic pressure la withdrawal. Outcome the Venezuelan crisis will determine whether transition para multipolar world order proceeds через negotiated accommodation или prolonged confrontation que exhausts vsi parties. But whatever immediate result, Venezuelan resistance already achieved strategic victory by demonstrating que American military intervention можно be successfully opposed by combination the popular determination e international solidarity. Por hoje é isso desta análise sobre how Venezuela managed para humiliate most powerful military in world przez demonstration the resistance que American power cannot overcome when faced with genuine popular opposition supported by emerging multipolar coalition. De algum lugar entre ruínas, the American credibility e birth the new era de sovereign resistance para imperial domination. Ciao tutti. Mantenham-se ligados porque próximo Pep Café может be last one broadcast desde world donde American hegemony still pretends para exist.